Hello, everybody. I'm Jennifer Rose, and welcome to our Memorial Day tribute. And I've got my special guest, Ronnie Shahbazian, on with me here today. Hello, Ronnie. How are you?
Good morning, Jennifer. And, we did this last year and it was such an amazing event that, you decided to do it again. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Exactly, exactly. Thank you for coming back on again. And yes, I know we met last Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and very well received. People learned a lot and had a lot of questions. And this is an opportunity once again to honor all of those who have served our country, and really, all veterans, all military who serves, and for the sacrifices that they make. And to honor them, especially today, because this is a little bit more focused on those who have lost their lives too, and we
Correct.
want to make sure that they are remembered, and honored, as they should be, and never forgotten.
That's true, Jennifer. We have to take this, and you use the words correctly. I'm glad to hear. It's sometimes we use the wrong verbiage for this celebration. It's not a celebration, it's a remembrance of
Yeah,
sacrifices by those who gave it all for the sake of their country. We think of the word to celebrate. We'll celebrate their lives. So you can still use that word, but it's not a celebration. It's a remembrance of what they sacrificed for their country. And I have one particular veteran who died in World War II, and that was my Uncle Bartev Shahbazian. So I'm going to hold him up right here.
hi,
Here he
Uncle
is,
Bartlev. We love you.
Uncle Bartev. My middle name is Bart, and he is Bartev. I was named after him. I never met him. He died when he was 31 years old in the Philippines. So I really didn't know much about him until I started thinking, well, who is this guy? He was one of 9 kids. He went off to war along with his brothers. He had at least 2 brothers that went to the war. My father being one of them, but my father came back and raised a family and was successful, but still had his battles as a veteran. But he didn't give the ultimate sacrifice. But he died, and he died as a veteran. Uh, One of the things that my uncle, he was, like I said, 31 years old. He was never married. He never had a family. So those were things that happened. And I was listening today on my way home to be a part of this. I this morning earlier I was at the Goleta, California cemetery where I gave the invocation, and I showed his picture at that time too, and talked a little bit about him. And there were people there that brought pictures. We like to make sure that they get a chance to celebrate the loved ones in their life, and that's pretty important because I mean, I think about my uncle every day because he's right here on my desk. I get to see him every morning when I get up, and that's a great remembrance for me. And I want him there all the time. So that's my paying homage to him, and knowing that he made that ultimate sacrifice, and I'm here representing him, and that's an
Oh,
honor for me. It's really a special treat to be able to represent my uncle because he didn't get a chance to represent himself. So hey, I'm pretty honored to have that ability to do that.
yeah, that's beautiful, Ronnie. Thank you so much. And we honor all of the other people who here are missing their loved ones who have sacrificed and went on to spirit world, to make sure that they're all seen, heard, and loved too. I definitely
Right.
feel a room filling with spirit. I want to thank everybody who's watching, who's joined us. If you wouldn't mind sharing, tagging, commenting, letting us know you're here, putting little hearts, little heart on the reaction buttons, and a little hashtag live, that will help us in the algorithms to get out there more for people. And if anybody has questions or would like to honor their loved one who has died in service, please do so in the comments. We would love to see you. Now, Ronnie, you are a Vietnam veteran. Would you tell us a little bit about that? And hello to everybody who's joined us. There's
Sure. It's
RG.
RG's here. Oh, great.
RG's here,
Love
Jennifer
RG.
McCormick, Brian Medium, Our beautiful
Yeah.
Nancy's here too.
Nancy's here. Love Nancy.
Jade,
Love
all your,
everybody that's here today.
yeah,
Jade,
yeah.
Jade is here.
They're all coming
Thanks
on for you,
everybody.
Ronnie.
And I appreciate it
Friend.
because, I mean, this is a day that people do a lot of things. It's a day they don't have to go to work if they don't want to. It's a day that, is traditionally for buying cars and mattresses and going to barbecues.
Yeah.
But, we can do that anytime. We can do that after these ceremonies. This is going to be done early. You got plenty of time to do a lot of things. My journey was obviously different than my uncle's. I was 20 years old. I was hanging out in in junior college, and working for my family businesses. I was my mother was Italian. My Italian mother was taking great care of me, cooking for me, and doing my laundry. My father was a taskmaster, my Armenian father, and he pushed me hard, and that's what I needed. And I had a hot blonde girlfriend whose parents hated me. I was living the perfect life. I didn't want to go anywhere, especially to a war that was not well received, and for a lot of good reasons. But unfortunately, the veterans took the blunt of that, especially when they came home. And to be able to take that journey after Vietnam was probably the biggest part of my eventual recovery, because I decided I didn't want to be a part of this journey. I was not happy. I was not flourishing. The girlfriend thing was gone, and I was working and going to school and not happy about it. And I decided that I was just going to party myself into oblivion. Well, it was a great journey. I had a lot of fun, but I wasn't growing. I wasn't going anywhere, and I had to take that experience of trying to do myself in by the ultimate party and change my life and reach out and find God. God was with me the whole time. God protected me in Vietnam. It was like an adventure. It wasn't like it was really happening. And that was how I felt I was protected. There were guys crying. There were guys, wishing they were home and feeling sorry for themselves. And it was just a great adventure for me, to get up every morning and go to work and take care of people and be a part of the process. We were doing good work there, but it wasn't our war. It wasn't my war. It was a war that was never winnable, wasn't going to be winnable. So a lot of guys sacrificed. We lost 58,000 people in that war that died, but the multitudes that came back that didn't recover. It took me 2 decades to get through the traumas that I self-inflicted traumas that I put upon myself because I didn't want to deal with what was going on. But I love myself too much to do anything harmful to myself. So eventually I worked my way out of my situation and found God. I found Santa Barbara. I found, the love of these spiritual communities that thrive throughout the world. And we're so happy to have everybody here that's giving back. But we can't ever forget the trials and tribulations that we all endure, whether you're a veteran or not. We all deal with them, and we're dealing with a lot of them now. But the thing that we have to remember is to remember. Remember the sacrifices of others. Remember our own sacrifices, the things we do every day in our lives. Those are important things, and I learned those lessons as a young man, and then I forgot them, but then I learned them again. God is great. God takes care of us. If you're meant to be, you're meant to be, and he'll make sure you have as many chances as you need.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing your story, Ronnie. And everybody is receiving it so well. Jade has joined us, Debbie has joined us, Debbie Ontiveros, Evelyn is here, Nancy Shelby is here too, um, Miss RG, Maria Gonsalves. So thank you all for being here. We appreciate you so much. And and the last couple of times that we met, we talked a lot about, oh, my puppy wants to come in, so I'm gonna have to let her in just a minute. But we talked a lot about Veterans Affairs and how to get benefits and everything too. And I see Jade's made a comment about her father and the PTSD. And so I thought it would be good if we could speak a little bit about, mental health and veterans and mental health, and like, how do you take care of your mental health? How do you take care of your physical health, so that you can thrive in your life? And I'm going to go get my puppy while you do that. And you're in my ear.
That's a great question. Thank you, Jennifer. I think what the answer to that question is we have to find it in our hearts. It's not easy. We're not easy. You reach out. The VA is a cumbersome operation. It's so big. It's so hard to maneuver, but the resources are there. If I can do it, anybody can do it. It took me 10 years to become permanent and totally disabled through the VA. Through my PTSD, through my medical conditions. I've had 5 different kinds of cancer in the last 10 years. And the VA has helped me through all of it. But they didn't come on knock on my door and say, we've got disability money for you and we've got treatments for you. But the treatments are there and you have to work it out. You have to go and you see the people, make the appointments and go and talk to them and talk to them and talk to them. And when they turn you down, talk to them again. If they deny something you're going to try to get, you appeal it. I spent 4 years on an appeal. Finally, I'm sat in front of a federal law judge. And this guy was like Dewey Hauser. And he was listening to my appeal on my PTSD rating and my unemployability, because all those things add up to benefits. And to be able to maneuver it and get involved, I didn't want to do it. I mean, I did not want to deal with the VA. When I first came back from Vietnam, I went to the VA because I was nauseous and I was sick, I was pale, and the doctor there just dismissed me as a partying Vietnam vet. Well, he was half right, but I had Hep C that didn't get diagnosed for 10 years. Your body can't take that. But eventually I got that treated and taken care of. So you can't ever stop looking for answers and going to the VA. If first you get an answer that doesn't sound right, you ask it again, ask somebody else that question. And you're going to eventually get the help you need. It's there. It was there for me. I get it every day.
Yeah. Yeah. So never give up. And Jade is saying, and God bless your dad, saying hi to him in heaven too. My dad came home with Hep C too. So that's very common too. And took Lynn is saying hi, Lynn, and hi, Jeffrey, who's joined us too, and hi, Elaine Staten, who's joined us. It took Rosalie 4 years to get her husband the same type of 100% disability rating. Sad and common scenario, but we can't give up. We can't give up, even
That's
though
the
it's a
bottom line.
headache. Yeah,
This is
it's a headache, right? To go through all that. It's very stressful to fight for your benefits, but it's worth it to keep going.
it really is. It makes all the difference in your world, and the things you can do with your life. I reached a point where I can travel more. I can spend time on Jennifer Rose's shows. I can work with her independently. I can do just about whatever I want because I've been given the resources that allows me to do that. And if you know veterans that are in need, or even if they're doing well, you got to say, are you really doing okay? Are you getting all the resources you need? Jennifer has my number. Most of you have my number. I'll talk to anybody about their benefits and what they need to do. I was at the Goleta Cemetery giving the invocation this morning, and the Rick Fowler, who runs that cemetery, is a veteran. He was a captain. And so he was trying, he got some of his benefits, and then he tried to get more and it was denied. So he took a different path. He went, and there you can get private counsels. You can hire an attorney that are they're experienced and they're focused in veterans affairs and how to maneuver the system. I didn't use that. I didn't want to have to pay anybody money. They take a percentage of your claim, either your first check that they get for you or however it's worked. They work out something for you. And he went ahead and did it that way. And I said, I need to know, because I mentor veterans and I talk to them, and I need to know if this is a good benefit, because it wasn't a good benefit for me. I don't want to give anybody that. But if you reach a point to where you've experienced all your resources, then maybe that is a good way to go. For me, I didn't see the benefit, but I wouldn't discourage anybody from looking into it.
Yes, thank you, thank you. And hi to everybody who's joined us as well too. And thank you for clicking the little heart button and the hashtag live and sharing this to your friends too. We really appreciate you all. I did forget to mention that in about 40 minutes after Ronnie and I's are finished speaking at 11:30 a.m. Pacific, 7:30 p.m. in the UK, myself, Nancy Muratala, Fran Pierce, and Kelly Brickle will be going live to give some messages from Spirit in honor of Memorial Day as well too. So we'll take a little break and then we'll be going live again on another show. So you're welcome to join us for that as well. And Brian is saying, you're a real trooper. You never give up. You will never quit. You don't take no for an answer. You fight all the way to the end. Once a veteran, always a veteran. Oh,
Thank you,
that's
Brian.
so
I really
sweet.
appreciate your sentiment. That really means a lot to me.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah.
And when I was going through this journey, I reached the 100% disability platform, and I thought, I guess I'm okay. I don't need this permanent and total. I guess I'll be all right. But then I was seeing a dentist through the VA, and I get a call from the provider, not the provider, but from the VA, saying, you're not eligible for dental anymore. And I went, well, I've been getting it. What happened? They said, well, you weren't permanent and total. So they did an audit, and somehow my name came up as not being permanent and total. So they kicked me off the dental. And so I went, well, how am I going to figure this out? So about 6 months later, I get a call from my dentist. We have an appointment for you if you want to come in to have a checkup and a cleaning. And I went, okay. So I just thought, well, maybe something slipped between the cracks. I'm not telling anybody anything. I'm just going to go to the dentist and go and go and go. And that's what happened. I don't know why it happened, but it happened. And the thing, once I received a stack of mail correspondence from the VA. Some of it's easy to look at, some of it's confusing. So we have VSOs, veteran service officers, throughout. California's got them all over the place, and every state should have them. They're funded by the state of California, the county of Santa Barbara. So that's my guy. That's who I go see. And he's a veteran, and he's not doing great all the time either. So I have to be kind to him in order for him to be able to help me. And I went and I said, Joe, what is this? I'm a little confused here. And he looked at my paper and he goes, well, you finally did it. I said, what did I do? He goes, you're permanent and total. So it almost seemed anticlimactic, because I went, wow, it happened. It really happened. And it was because I didn't give up. Like Brian mentioned, you don't give up. And if you need help, even if it's someone you have to pay, you get the help. The most important thing is to make sure you take care of the people that love and take care of you. Don't get mad at them. Don't get angry. Don't get upset. PTSD comes in a lot of forms, anger and things. People lash out at the people that are trying to help them the most. And when that happens to you, when you experience that, that's your turn to reach out and get help for the loved one that's suffering. You can do it as well. You have that power. If your husband or your son or your brother or your brother-in-law or anybody is not doing well and they feel isolated, I wear this armband. It says 22 veterans every day take their own lives. And a lot of it, I feel, is through isolation. They get tired. They get, their hearing goes. Well, I got these super duper hearing aids that the VA gave me. I can hear just about anything. I got all the things. I got teeth that the VA gave me because the poisons that they gave me took all that away. And I got it back. because I worked hard to get it. And if you know family members that need that kind of help, get the help for them. Call me. I'll talk to them. I don't mind. I got the time.
That's wonderful, Ronnie. Thank you. And Craig is here as well. I know he's a veteran as well. So we want to give
Love
some honor to
Craig.
Craig. Yeah, yeah.
Craig's my
He's
brother.
I think and they are from Iraq as well. I think he's an Iraq veteran and had a similar journey as well with spiritualism and the
Right.
healing that that's given him too. So I'm gonna say hi to Craig too.
Yeah. Hi,
Um,
Craig. Thanks for being here. Yeah, and Craig can't even tell us some of the places he went. Otherwise, he might have to kill us.
Oh dear, well, we can't have that. Yeah, I know some it's top secret stuff there. Holiday says brother was a Marine, was killed in Nam in September 1968 when he was 18. So let's give some love to him. So thank you for letting us know about your brother Holiday one. So we
Yeah.
appreciate you. So one more person that we can remember here today.
Right.
Hi to Tracy McGinley. Craig is saying Army brother. And he says, "You never gonna tell."
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was there in 1968. I
Oh,
went there
Vietnam through Iraq. Craig
as a
saying that he's
20-year-old
from.
in 1967, November of 1967 to November of 1968. Part of my 2-year tour of the Army.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. And I have two questions for you, Ronnie. What how do you take care of yourself in addition to all the benefits that you're receiving, like what do you do to take care of like your mental health and your physical health too, and how do we get I think it's a lot better now because we have more resources, we have more knowledge, but how do we get um you know anyone who's been through trauma and things like that to make the switch of not thinking that they're too tough to ask for help or they're supposed to be tough or they're supposed to be strong and then therefore suffering in silence? How do we get them to realize like help is the strong thing to ask for?
And that's the truth. And I didn't ask for help for a long time until my nosy neighbor kept saying, you got benefits, you got benefits. You need to go, get them and get them. And I just said, I don't want to deal with them anymore. I had a bad experience when I came back from Vietnam. And finally I did. And it changed my life. But you got to make, no one can take you there. Well, I guess they can. You may go running out of the office, but you have to make the decision that that's what you want to do to change your life. My life wasn't so bad. I worked and had a great job, great benefits, but I was starting to get sick. And once you got to start to get sick, and Craig knows this as well with his prostate cancer treatment and cure, and it's always going to be with us. We get cured from these diseases, but they've always taken an impact on our lives. They've taken a notch out of us that is harder to recover. And when we try to regain that strength and that independence or that fortitude that we had, the Army does a great job. Military does a great job of training us to be soldiers, and I don't even know how they did it because I thought I maintained my independence through the whole ordeal. But, they don't, we were trained as warriors. We were trained not to go ask for help. We were trained not to show weakness and that we had the inability to do something. We were told we could do anything. And we were trained in that fashion. So you have to make that step. You have to reach out to someone that you love, that may be suffering, and see what they're doing. What are you doing? Are you okay? Can we help you? What can we do? I'll take you there.
Yeah. And it reminds me of there's this documentary I've seen over on Netflix that I love. It's half an hour long. It's about Ram Dass, and um, he had a stroke in his later years, and he said it's the documentary is called Coming Home or Going Home, I believe, and he had a stroke, and he said of all what he received, the grace he received from the experience of the stroke, and he says, I don't wish anybody the suffering of the stroke, but I wish everybody the grace that I received from it. But more than that, he said, I I would have written a book saying, "How could I help you?" before the stroke. And then after the stroke, he says, I would have changed the title to "How can you help me?" Because our culture and society is so into independence. And he says, but the stroke taught me dependence. And it just hit my heart, it just hit my heart that it's okay. It is okay to need help. It is okay to ask for help. And I think there's warrior in that.
That makes a lot of sense, and that goes hand in hand to what I was saying. And one of the things
Yeah.
that you asked that I didn't finish answering because I wander
Yeah.
off sometimes is what
That's
makes the
okay.
difference? Well, being able to work with you, Craig Hendricks, and his
Mhm.
classes and his sessions has helped change my life. He called me one of his pillars, and and that made me feel pretty good. And it's something that's instilled in my heart. I don't need to see him every day. I don't need to be there at every session, but he's always in my heart because he's made a difference in my life, just like you
Yeah.
have, just like many of the people on this telecast, or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah,
Zoom.
our live
It's
stream,
just,
yeah.
yeah, it's just a blessing to have all these people here today that want to listen to me talk about my story. And people want to give
Yeah.
comments about their lives and their story that connect all the dots, that give us an opportunity to say, I'm not alone. We're in this together. How can I help? What can I do to help you?
How can I help? What do you need? You taught me that. How can I help? What do you need? That's so beautiful. And Craig is saying, spirit is there every step of the way. And so I know that your spirituality has definitely helped too, and you meditate and you make sure to go to all of your, different self-care appointments and things like that so you can feel balanced.
Yes. Breath work and sound bowls.
Love that.
I just want to say something to Holiday on her strength and support for her brother who, sacrificed so much, and, stay strong and look for others that may be experiencing something, and maybe you can give them a helping hand as well, because you seem very passionate about what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. No one should have to suffer in silence, and that's not just our military, our soldiers, but also those of us who love them and care for them too, because it does affect the whole family. It affects everybody who loves that person too. So we're kind of like all in this together.
And that's what makes a difference. We have to do this as a as a exercise in community.
Yeah, exercise and community. And Brian Medium is now talking about the homeless issue. That is something that is another facet is homeless veterans, and their suicide rates are so high as we're getting into mental health awareness month, and 22 a day is 22 too many, right? We need to
Right.
stop this. That shouldn't be going on. They put their lives on the front lines for our freedom. Yeah. Um, I
I
I think
I want
is
to
it
I
getting
want to
better? We do have a lot of benefits available, so I think it's definitely getting better. There's a large chunk of the budget that goes to Veterans Affairs, but there's more to
there
be done.
is. Yeah, there's more work to be done. But in Brian's message there about homeless veterans, here in Santa
Yeah.
Barbara, there's an organization called New Beginnings, and they start out their core work is counseling. You can go in there with little or no money, and you can get counseling. And they have different programs. They have a veterans program, and they are on the verge of zero veterans homeless in Santa Barbara County. That was their goal. I work passionately with that part of New Beginnings, and that's their goal, is to have no veterans on the street. If they're on the street, it's because they're hiding. They can't be found.
Oh, that's so wonderful to hear. And so it's like, so that shows us that the work is being
Yeah.
done. Like we just got to
Yeah.
keep going. Don't forget, don't lose our traction, don't give
Right.
up. Just
Help
keep
is there.
going,
Help is
going,
on the
going.
way.
Oh, I got chills, Ronnie. Multiplying.
And I'm on the board of New Beginnings, and I see all the good work they do, and they have safe parking because people are living in their cars. They have parking lots throughout Santa Barbara County. And this is not only in Santa Barbara, this is a statewide and national program that's gone international. Parking lots that are not used at night. You register your vehicle, and they have chaperones. They have people that are monitoring these lots. You just can't pull into a lot and park and break out your crack pipe and have a night. Everybody they have to fill out documentation, applications for this. And then once they get into safe parking, then they'll get them involved in other programs to get them out of their cars and into apartments or motel rooms and eventually their own home. I think when we talked last time, I mentioned Jerome. Jerome is a combat veteran, served in Vietnam, jumped out of airplanes and helicopters. 101st Airborne is a tough organization. They protected the base that I was on when I was in Vietnam, and these guys are badass. They're really badass. And this guy Jerome was living. So I'd go to this friend of mine who has a little convenience store out by the boat harbor. And it's kind of people go there and he's got to sign up. You can leave your husband here and I will take care of him for the day. And it's going to cost you so much an hour, So anyway, he's got that kind of thing going. Really nice. His name is Richard, and he's a Korean War veteran. Him and his wife Dolly own this store, along with his family helps him out. And Jerome would be hanging out there helping Richard put up the flags in the morning and take him out in the afternoon. I said, Jerome, what's his story? And he goes, well, he just won't go get help. So I just kept pestering Jerome, Jerome, man, you can get off these streets, get out of the bushes. You don't need to be living there. You can have a better life. Eventually he went, saw my guy Joe at the Veteran Service Office. And now he's got housing. He's wearing nicer clothes, and he's happier, and he's got money, and he goes and he swims there's a pool near the water that's a public pool, and he got signed up for that, and they give veterans a discount, and he goes there almost every day and swims, changing his life.
Yeah. Thank you, Ronnie.
Stacia, for bringing up the safe parking.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. It's all over the place, and sometimes it's difficult. I was talking to the assistant city manager of Carpinteria, a small town near Santa Barbara, and he goes, yeah, and he whispered it to me. We just opened our 12 spot parking lot for homeless, and he was whispering it to me, and I said, Ryan, why are you whispering? He goes, some people are still not happy about this. So, not in my backyard, I guess is the thing. But once they realize what it's accomplishing and the people that are involved, because they may have this misconception if it's just a bunch of people sitting around their vehicles, getting high and, playing with their dogs or whatever they do. And but it's not. It's you got to belong there, and you just can't go there.
Yeah.
So all these things are available, and we need to, let people know that it's not going to be harmful. There's going to be some bad people that go in there that they'll kick them out. They won't be there long.
Yeah. Thank you. So what I'm hearing is like we really need this like multi-step approach. It's like we need to get people to be willing to receive the help. We need to make sure they have food and shelter. We need to make sure they have all of their benefits and their medical treatment. We need to make sure they're getting mental health care as well. So therapy, counseling, and then all of these more holistic things like swimming, breath work, meditation, things like that, exercise, those kinds of things. And then we need the support of community and friends and family.
That's putting it all. That's putting it all in a nutshell, my friend. That's exactly what it takes, because I was strong enough to be able to do. Once I got started, I was strong enough to be able to do most of it on my own. but I still needed help. I still needed my veteran service officer. I still needed people to talk to and get ideas. Veterans serving veterans. By helping you, if someone has a question, call me. I'll give an answer, and we can see what's out there for you. I don't mind. I had to ask questions. I had to reach out, and you have to keep pushing. You have to say, well, they denied my appeal. Appeal again.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
You might
Never
just need
say
a different,
die.
you might just need a
Never
different person to read. Yeah, you might just need a different person to read the application.
And the
And
and the guidelines and rules change every day. Things that weren't available are now available. You just don't know. And that's money you're leaving on the table, as well as the treatments that go along with it. And it can change your life. It changed my life.
yeah, yeah, beautiful. And Stacey's saying so many people are on the streets with different needs and some don't want to be bothered. Those are the ones we really need to help. So that's like what New Beginnings does is they go out and find them, right?
They go out and find them. They track them down. And it's not just veterans, it's people from all walks
Yeah,
of life, but they have a
yeah,
standalone veterans program, and I'm active in that. And I like to make sure that, that those people are getting what they need to do the jobs they're doing. We went in with a check from my AmVets organization a couple of months ago, and when we did it last year, there was about 5 people. When we went in this time, they had a whole office building designated to the veterans program, a wing of the office building. And there was 15 people that came out and took pictures with us when we presented them with their check.
uh,
That's powerful stuff. I went,
it's
whoa,
powerful.
who are all these
That's
people?
yeah.
They're
This
helping
is
veterans.
like, yeah, this is spirit at work,
Yeah.
and this is the spirit, the souls of us at work too. So it's that beautiful partnership of humanity and spirit world coming together. And we don't always know that all of these things are happening. We're not aware. We just see bad things on the news, but there is good happening, and there's good people to be found everywhere that are, um, and they're giving their hearts and their time and their love to help people too. And so it's like keep. It's like we got to talk about the good that's being done today, and that like warms my heart so much. um, Evelyn's talking about PTSD. They train you for battle, but not what transpires in combat. And then that's how to assimilate back into civilian life. So she's talking about emotional freedom technique is available for veterans in the LA area too. Yeah,
Right.
that's a good one. Thank you. Thank you,
There's
Evelyn.
so many different ways, the tapping, there's so many different ways you can help your mental health. I see a psychologist every week, and she's an Army veteran. She was a paratrooper. She's badass,
We
just like
like those
you.
badass females. Yes, we do.
Well, you come with a whole tribe, and I'm love being a part of it today. I know you got a break for your second show,
um,
and I just really want to be thankful for everybody that showed up today. And this has become an
yeah,
annual tradition, and I look
yeah.
forward to hearing from people that might need help or have questions. And I'd be more than happy to be a part of whatever you need me to be a part of.
Yeah, please reach out, everybody. Ronnie Shahbazian is open and willing to help. So if you know somebody that needs help or you're somebody that needs help, please do reach out. Don't suffer in silence. We are going to be in about 15 minutes going live again with Nancy Muratala, Fran Pierce, myself, and Kelly Brickle will be doing some readings in tribute for Memorial Day as well too. So a little quick coffee break and then come back on your phones and your computer, everybody too. I do have a favor to ask, Ronnie. Would you mind closing us out in a prayer, a blessing of sorts, to finish up here today? And thank
I'd
you,
love
everybody
to.
who's joined us. Please give us a little heart, and thank you so much for all your comments and shares. We love you all very dearly. So, okay, handing it back over to you, Ronnie.
Well, I went from invocation to benediction. So here we go. On behalf of myself, Jennifer Rose, my uncle Bartev Shabazian, we've gathered here today to do what we need to do to remember those who lost their lives giving so much, giving the ultimate sacrifice for their country, being able to provide some love and show them the love on this special day for them, the love that we show them every day. In God's name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ronnie. I love you so much. Thank you for being my friend and my colleague and my soul friend as well too. I always feel safe in your presence. We laugh together. We can be funny and silly together. We can wave our magic wands together. We have so much fun. So I'm truly blessed to have you in my life, and thank you for taking the time to share with us and to teach all of us here today, and so we could share in this love. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks everybody for being here. I love you all. You guys are awesome. You make
Yes,
me
you
laugh.
are. Lots of love to everybody, and we'll see you very soon. And God bless everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Jennifer.
Bye.